In this video, you will learn how to fetch complete store detail from your Shopify store using both REST API and GraphQL API directly in Postman and in Node.js. So we will first get the Shopify access token, and for that you need to log into your Shopify store first. In my case, I have already logged in my Shopify store admin, and now I will click on settings, and then I will click apps and sale channels. So from here you will click on develop apps and then click on create an app, and here you will write down the name of your app. So you can write anything for your reference. In my case, I will type YouTube tutorial and app developer email address. So this is the only email address I have over here. So I will select my email address. Can only be assigned to the staff and collaborator with the permission to develop apps. We will contact them about the development updates like changes to the Shopify API. So whenever there is any change in the Shopify API, they can connect you with this email address. So you can select the right email address and then click on create app. And once the app is created, you will see 4 different tabs: overview, configuration, API credentials, and app setting. So we will go there one by one. In the overview, you can see select your access scope to get started and configure the admin API scope and configure the storefront API scope. So right now we are only using admin API, so we will use this admin API scope, and you will see the development history and event, user, and date, what happened to this app. And then you can explore documentation to speed up the development, like access store data with the admin API, develop custom shopping experience with storefront API, authenticate with access token. So you can go to the configuration, and there are two type of APIs: admin API and storefront API. You can see the admin API reference from here, and if you click on this, you can see all the information over here. And we will configure the scope, and in this scope there are so many scopes like analytic, application, assigned fulfillment orders, browsing behavior, custom pixel, customers, discounts. So you can select the right scope. In our case, we will select the products, and we can read products and we can write products. So right now we will only select read products, and similarly we will select orders and we will select the read orders, and then we will click on save, and configuration is saved. We get the message, and then we can go to the API credentials, and here you can See access token. You don't have any access token yet. To get your admin API access token, install your app. So we need to install this app in our store. So we will click and then installing give you app access to your data. You can get access token that's limited to the API scope you selected. Make sure you have only selected the scope that app needs to work. So we have only selected products and orders, and now we'll click on install. And once the app is installed, you can see your access token. So Shopify only reveal this token at once. So once you reveal that, you need to copy this access token at some secure places so you can use that again. So if you reload this page again, you will not be able to see the access token anymore. Okay, and you cannot copy that. So there are two other ways to get the Shopify access token again. You can uninstall the app and install the app again. You will get the new access token. The other way is delete this app and create the new app, and then you will be able to get the new access token. And in the app settings, we have the app name. You can change the app name, you can write the description, and you can add the development update contact. You can add another email address. So in the case of any update or any deprecation, you will receive the notification. So you can make the changes in your app accordingly. So now we have the Shopify access token. Now let's try to get the data of our store. So first we will check that in the Postman, and then we will fetch the data in Node.js. So let me open the Postman first. So I have opened Postman, and now I make a new request. Let me close the other ones. So you can see over here. So now go back to the API documentation. So there are admin GraphQL API, and now Shopify is moving from REST API to GraphQL API. So we will use the GraphQL API first. So what we need to authenticate the request, and how we can make the curl request. So we can copy this URL. We can copy this URL and paste that in the Postman over here. And in the shop, we need to replace the store we are fetching the data. So we will copy our store name and replace with the shop. As you know, all the GraphQL API requests are the post request, not the get request. So we have to make the post request to get the information about our store. Okay, now the next thing we need a content type application JSON and access Shopify token, which we just created. So I'll copy that and put that into the header. In the header, the key would be Shopify access token, and then we will place that token over here. And the next thing is we need to select this content type, application and JSON. And in the body, we are going to write the GraphQL query. So if you would like to get the shop information, we will select the shop query, shop queries. So let me search again. So this is the shop object, and we can get the avatar URL, ID, and my shop and the name. Okay. So let me just copy and paste the query. I'll copy the query and paste that over here. And in the shop, we have a name, my domain, email address, and the plan, currency code, primary domain, and the country name. So let's remove this country name and time abbreviation, and let's try to make this query. Send the query, and now you can see we get the response in the data format, shop name, Wixo, and my domain is Wixo checkout, email is this, and plan is developer preview, currency code is USD, primary domain is this, contact email, and the extension, the cost of the query. So this is how we can get the shop information from our store. So next this is the Postman. How we can use this information in our application or in the code. So what we are going to do, we are going to click on code, and from here we will select Node.js Axios. So we'll select this, and now we can copy this code, and we can run this code in our editor. So let's open a new folder and create a new folder. So I will click on new folder, and let's say we name it Shopify API. Okay, and select this folder, and now in our folder we will open the terminal, and we will type npm init -yes. It will create the new JSON file, so we can install the node modules. So let's wait, and now you can see we have package.json. Now we can install the file. So first I will create a new file, app.js, and I will paste the code which I grabbed from the Postman, and now we need to install the Axios. So I will type npm install Axios, and it is going to install in my folder. And now you can see we have node modules. And now let's try to run this file, save that, and try to run node app.js. And as you can see, we have the data over here, the shop data, everything we fetched on the Postman. Now we are able to fetch that information over here as well. So let me just read the code for you. First, we have Axios module. We install the Axios module. Then we have the query, and we convert the query into the stringify. So this is our GraphQL query in the data variable. And now after that, we have configuration. In the configuration object, we have method post max body length inventory, and the URL is, this is the URL of our store. And this is our Shopify access token. Normally we don't put the Shopify access token directly into our code. So we will we will put that in the environment variable, but this is just for the demo purpose. So we will never put the Shopify access token into the code. We will always create the .env file and put that over there. And in the header, we have access Shopify token and the content type application JSON, and data is the data. And the data, which is, we have defined this query in the data. Then we make the request, Axios request, and we put the configuration. And after the response, once this promise is resolved, we get the response and we display that data into the JSON.stringify. So that's why you can see this is the string over here. Now if you would like to get the products from the Shopify, so you need to change the query. So let me copy and paste the query for getting the products. So I replace the query, and let me close this. And in this query, we are going to get the first 50 products. And in the products, we have edges, cursor, and in the node of edges, we have product ID, title, handle, status, vendor, product type, tags, total inventory, created ad, and then we will get the variants of the products and images of the product. So send this request, and as you can see, we get the products information. We have the cursor in the node. We have first product. This is the ID of the product, title, handle, status, vendor, and the tags. And then we have the variants information and ID, title, SKU, price, and inventory. So this is how you can fetch the products. Now similarly, we can grab the code from here. We can copy this, and this time I will create a new file, fetch products.js, and put the code over here. And now if I run node fetch products, hit enter. Okay, my file was not saved, so I just saved that. Now run the file again, node fetch products, and you can see we get the data of the products. And you can remove this JSON.stringify, so you can see the data in JSON format. So one more time, run node fetch products, and now you cannot see because we have array and then edges. So you can say data dot data, then products, then edges, and now let's try to run that again. And this time you can see all the products information like node and ID of the product, title of the product, and handle. And you can use this data in your application node.applications. So we are not using REST API mostly because Shopify slowly converting all the REST APIs to GraphQL API, and they are deprecating the REST API. So if you would like to fetch the orders, similarly, we can get fetch the orders information. So let me copy the query for fetching orders. So I will copy and paste, and then I will explain the query. So we are going to fetch the first 50 order sorted by created and reverse is true. So we will get the latest orders first, and the edges and cursor and the node in the ID name and created. So subtotal, the amount, the currency code. So let's run this query. And you can see we have all the information. Access is denied for the customer. So we cannot get the data about the customer because we don't have read customer access. So what we can do, we can go back to our application and configuration, and then added the admin API configuration. And this time we are going to find customers, and we will select the customers. Save that. And now if you run the query, you will be able to get the information about the customer. Now we have the information about the orders. We have information about the customer as well. So customer is this Fayaz Ahmed, last name and this is my customer ID, and this is the total amount set and the shop money, the information about the order and everything. So now let's get the order information in the Node.js as well. So I'll copy this and go back to the our application and create a new file, and I'll say fetch customers. Yes, and paste the information over here. Now I'll type node fetch customers and hit enter, and you will be able to see the data. So right now we are putting this access token in the code, which is not good. So we need to install the .env module. So we'll type node.env. We'll type npm install .env. Hit enter, and it install the .env module. Now we can create the new file .env, and we can say Shopify underscore access underscore token is equal to this, and we will copy this and paste that over here. and then we can copy the variable, and in the application we will use process.env dot Shopify underscore access underscore token. Copy this. We will copy this, and similarly we will replace that over here and over here as well. And then we will use this module at the top, and we will type require.env.configuration, and we will copy this over here as well, and in our app.js as well. So if I run node app.js again, and we will be able to get the information, right? And similarly, if we run node.fetch products, we will be able to fetch the products as well. And similarly, we will be able to select the fetch customer as well. So always put your credentials in .env file, never put them into the code. So when you push your code into the GitHub in some public repository, your access token can be seen anywhere in the world. So always put them into the .env file and make your Shopify access token secure. So I think this is enough for this video. Please let me know if you have any questions. I will be happy to help you out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.